So much. As promised, let's go back to the NBA as we get you set for Game 4 of the finals tonight. Sage.
Kevin, speaking of questions, never before have there been this many questions about the Golden State Warriors. Questions and concerns, but we're going to get a lot of answers to those questions tonight. First and foremost, what will Golden State get from Klay Thompson? The other Splash brother is expected to return after missing Game 3 with that hamstring strain. Also, which Kyle Lowry will show up? He has been the team's anchor for Toronto, backed it up with 23 points and 5 threes in Game 3. Both were more than he had in Games 1 and 2 combined. He's been huge. Back to the Warriors and Stephen Curry. Will he be able to replicate his Game 3 performance? Remember, 47 points, the most in his playoff career, after getting very little help from his teammates. Again, this roster's so banged up, and every winner in this series has had an unsung hero so far. Pascal Siakam and his 32 points in Game 1. DeMarcus Cousins came up big in Game 2. Danny Green made 6 threes in Game 3. Who will lead the way in Game 4? Again, so many question marks. With that answer, it's anybody's guess. Listen to Klay.
How do you think you can impact Game 4 after being able to sit back and watch Game 3?
Well, I think I can impact Game 4 by doing what I do. Just getting buckets and getting stops.
If we didn't feel like we could be here, we wouldn't be here right now. Simple as that. Have the same confidence.
Our best basketball is usually played when our backs are against the wall, whether that's in a series, whether that's in one particular game.
If we put a huge effort in and we're the hardest playing team, then we're going to deserve to win. And that's all we're focused on.
I'd say the cards are stacked against us in terms of injuries and things like that, but it's a sob story nobody really wants to hear. It's about how can you get the job done, and we gotta go do it.
Yes, they do. Sports Center on the road is presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. As we take a look high above Oracle Arena, the home of the Golden State Warriors for the past 47 years. This could be the final game in the illustrious history of this arena, depending on what happens in this series. As we take a look high above the court, as we bring you back down here live as we get you set for Game 4 alongside my friend and co-worker, ESPN senior NBA writer Brian Windhorst. And Brian, yesterday on SportsCenter, you said the defending champions are in trouble. That said, what are you expecting from Toronto, from the Raptors, from Nick Nurse, as they've never been in this position?
Wow, is this a big game?
Yeah.
The winner of this game is going to have control of this series, because even though the Raptors have home court either way, if the Warriors get this victory, they're going to get healthier. Klay's going to get healthier. Durant could come back next week. That's why the Raptors' mindset is to step on the Warriors' throats tonight, make it 3-1, and most importantly, don't let them get healthy, Sage. They would have played this game yesterday if they could have. They are thrilled this is only one day off. It's less chance for the Warriors to get ready. The Warriors are about to have a walkthrough right here on this court. That never happens. They haven't done that in the entire postseason because they're trying to squeeze stuff in.
Yeah.
The Raptors would start this game in 5 minutes if they could.
Yeah, they're shutting us down here. We're going to have to take the show outside because of that, something we've never seen before. By the way, remember the Raptors were down 2-1 to the Milwaukee Bucks, won 3 straight. So both teams certainly aware of what can happen. I think the Warriors also know in order to get back in this thing, they've got to fix their defense, Brian. What's your thought?
Yeah, this is the one thing that no one's really talking about. The Warriors have actually scored 109 points in all 3 games of this series. The difference has been their defense. And in the regular season, this was the worst defensive team that Steve Kerr has had. This has been the worst playoff defensive team that Steve Kerr has had in this run. The reason that the Warriors are down in this series is not because they don't have the offensive firepower of Durant and Klay Thompson. It's because they can't defend. And it's one of the reasons that Kevon Looney is considering getting numbed up and coming and playing tonight. He is questionable.
When he was supposed to be done for the series with that injury. That tells you how important this game is for the 2-time defending NBA champions. Brian Windhorst with us all night with post-game reaction to Game 4 as well. In the meantime, we've got so much more to come. Who can forget the look on Klay?
To you by One a Day and Mitsubishi Motors. Drive your ambition.
Welcome back to SportsCenter's coverage of the NBA Finals. Take a look at the tweet by Ramona Shelburne, because she and Tim Bontemps reporting there was a chance Kevon Looney plays in the finals with a fracture near his collarbone, listed as questionable in the report for today, Game 4. He's been lobbying really hard to play. That's what happens when the Warriors are in a situation like this with He was supposed to be out for the rest of the series, Doris Burke, but that's how badly they need some help, especially down low with that defense. Let's talk Klay Thompson, because you've been keeping a close eye on him. Obviously, they're better with him, but I want Doris to take us through and show us exactly next level how they are better with Klay Thompson in this lineup, because in this series and every series since this run began 5 years ago, the Warriors have been at their best when Klay's out there with Draymond and, of course, Stephen Curry, Doris.
Well, because Klay adds another shooter, and you've got to account for more area of the court, and this is what opens up opportunities for other guys. Klay Thompson's ability to do this, Sage, stretch the floor, be on the opposite side. Look at the kinds of open shots they get when these two men are on the floor.
Completely different situation, exactly. And what Thompson helps with, again, spreading the floor, Sean Livingston, he did his best. He's not going to be able to do what he can.
Well, he's a mid-range scorer, and a great cutter. But all of his action comes on the interior of the paint, about 15 feet and in. For Klay Thompson, it's anywhere on the floor you've got to guard him. So all of the attention that Klay draws because of his shot making allows Sean Livingston, Draymond Green to get open looks. His impact is profound.
And the distance that Livingston is able to hit versus Klay Thompson, it's just a completely different ball game. That's why the Raptors are hoping. Klay is not 100%. So if you're Toronto, how effective can they be? What is their biggest challenge knowing all this, Doris?
Listen, the reality is they have more than enough to win, and I'm going to show it through the prism of what the Golden State Warriors don't have, okay? Let's just pretend they're in a half-court situation. This is their normal split action. Ball goes into the post. Well, imagine if you could magically apparate and get back to, oh, by the way, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson with Draymond Green, the formidable death lineup. Now, instead, it's Sean Livingston, so it's a two-point contested shot. Your rotations are askew. Jerebko and DeMarcus Cousins haven't played consistent minutes together, and therefore you see those kinds of miscues. Draymond Green in transition. The wing here is Alfonso McKinney and Quinn Cook. Who was he accustomed to, Sage? Klay in the deep corner, strong side of Steph Curry. That's a drastically different look. The Raptors have enough to win. To me, it comes down to, do they make open shots? When they have made open shots, they've won in this series and all three prior.
Absolutely a different ballgame. Can we please talk about Stephen Curry? Because I feel like his career night in Game 3 was overshadowed, of course, by the loss and also by the Kyle Lowry situation. But that was like the Steph Curry of old, right?
Can I give you an amen on that?
Yes,
I can
please.
give you an amen, because he's one of the best to ever do it. Imagine you're a defender and you're trying to check this man. He's all 6'1", 185 pounds. Guess what? You make a mistake, Pascal Siakam, 32 feet in your eye. Now you're in pretty good position, right? You're locking and trailing if you're Lowry. Pascal's in help. Steph says, no problem. Now look at this. Pascal Siakam, he is squared up. He's saying, I can guard the drive and I can guard the perimeter. Little hesitation by Steph Curry. Off the window into the cup. This guy's impossible to guard. Kyle Lowry is a prideful, tough, physical defender. He puts him in the rear view. Now you don't make a mistake. The range. We talk about changing the geometry of the game. And oh, by the way, Steph puts a ton of time into the handle. That pregame routine where he's going through hoops, that's why he does it right there.
That babyface assassin nickname, that is the biggest compliment you could give to Stephen Curry, and you felt that in him the other night. Let's see if that can translate into a win with some help from Klay Thompson, hopefully for them in Game 4. Doris Burke, of course, on the call. 9 Eastern here on ABC. DB, thank you. Awesome as always. As for the odds for tonight, the Warriors are 4.5-point favorites tonight, despite definitively not having Kevin Durant. But they're no longer favorites to win this series. It is the first time in over 3 years that Golden State does not have the top odds to win the NBA title, Kevin.
Talk yesterday surrounding Kyle Lowry, focused on the Warriors. Investor Mark Stevens shoving him in Game 3 and then being banned by the NBA for a year and fined a $500,000. But Lowry was fantastic on the court Wednesday night. 23 points, 9 assists, and Kobe Bryant goes in full detail.
On this episode of Detail, we'll take a look at Kyle Lowry. You should always be looking for this. Right, so you see by Kyle raising the ball, see the ball's here, raises the ball just a little bit, makes the defense think he's going to throw the ball in the post, right? Now you got him. You can attack just like this. Make a nice bounce pass into the post. Right? You see Dre knows, so that right hand's coming down fast to try to stop that passing angle. Right? He knows he's in trouble here. Kyle's got to be able to get that ball into the post and cut right away. And players in the air like this, they can't play defense. They can't get to you. And Kyle, he's holding the ball here. His left hand is on the side of the ball. His right hand is the trigger hand. So his right hand is going to be the one making that pass. And that's a bad angle to make that pass with your right hand. You got to be able to switch hands, put that ball on the left, get that ball out wide, make that pass into the post, and now he can cut baseline side, or he can cut right down the middle. But once the defender leaves their feet like this, that's a great opportunity to attack by passing and cutting by them. For more analysis, go to Detail on ESPN+.
Kobe, thank you so much. And there's Steph. Relaxed, coming off that 47-point performance where he basically carried the Warriors' offense. They'll need another big night for Steph to tie the series up. Game 4 is just 2.5 hours away. Let's go back to Oracle, Sage.
And Stephen A. Smith joins me now. Stephen A., all eyes in this arena tonight will be on Klay Thompson because, frankly, the Warriors' ability to win this series rests on his shoulders in great portion. What will you be looking for when he takes that court tonight?
Well, believe it or not, as great of a shooter as he is, and obviously you're looking for him to make shots, the thing that I'm looking for is how is he going to improve their perimeter defense. The Toronto Raptors shot over 52% from the field, nearly 45% from three-point range. Every single individual that took a shot for them shot 50% or better from the field. That can't be allowed. 2 of these first 3 games, they scored 118 points at least. So when you're the Golden State Warriors, you scored 109 points in each of these games. You're putting up enough points to win. What you're not doing is defending. They would tell you that Klay Thompson obviously assists their defense dramatically. We're going to find out today because no matter how good he does, no matter how good he shoots, if you can't get stopped and Toronto shoots the way they shot in Game 3, you're going to lose this game.
And it's something nobody's used to seeing with the Warriors is issues on defense. So if Toronto goes up 3-1, they basically are shutting the door on this series. What do you need to see from them tonight to get that done?
Keep making shots. And, oh, by the way, if Klay is in the game, guess what? Run him. Find out how good that hamstring is. Listen, act like you with Sage Steele. Don't run. We know you like to run, Sage. Act like you with Sage Steele, and you got to run all night long. Let him chase you. See what he's going to do. If he's defending somebody and they're running, the Warriors might have to switch it on somebody that doesn't run. But that'll usually be a significantly bigger body that he probably can't defend. So do what you can to take him out of his rhythm and force them to do the kind of things that they don't want to do, which is making Klay run and obviously making them play stout defense for 48 minutes.
If the Raptors can get this done, that means they will have won 3 straight games here at Oracle. No team has done that since the Steve Kerr Finals era began back in 2014. So much on the line. Stephen A. Smith here all night, including your special coming up 7 Eastern here on ESPN. Thanks, Stephen A.
I guess that would mean because I'm special.
We know you're very, very special. Kevin, please take it.
I'll gladly take it, and we'll take it to Klay Thompson. Game 3 was the first playoff game Thompson had missed in his career. His streak of 120 straight postseason games was the 3rd longest among active players, trailing only LeBron and Tony Parker. And you heard Stephen A. talk about run in. Well, how will that hamstring hold up? He covers over 1.5 miles per game on offense this postseason. That is Klay, 5th in the NBA and over 1.3 miles on defense, 3rd in the league. He's the only player that ranks in the top 5 in both categories. And with that, let's bring in Tim Legler, a shooter knowing a shooter, with Klay returning tonight here. And you look at the vulnerability with that hamstring. What's it going to affect him the most, or where? Offense or defense?
It's defense, and here's why. Offensively, you can control your tempo, your pace, right? You know exactly what you want your body to do, and you're in complete control. Defense is about reaction and instinct. So look at a play like that, the closeout, and then you've got to decelerate and stop on a dime. And that's all hamstring that's allowing you to do that. The ability to chase over screens and then right there, then jump off the floor, reacting to Kawhi Leonard's pass to get a deflection. And then this probably more than any other. Klay Thompson, one of the best in the league at pursuit of the guy he's guarding even after the screen takes place. So for me, it's the defensive area of the floor because you're reacting to everything that someone is doing to you. You can't control your body then. Even the simulated workouts he's had, Kevin, everything he's doing subconsciously, he's doing it at a certain pace, so he's in control. That's not the case when you're guarding Kawhi Leonard. You're reacting to an elite player. Now we're going to see how that hamstring holds up and how that thing reacts, and does it affect their game plan defensively?
And it's interesting you bring up the defense because they were dreadful in Game 3 defensively, especially in the first half here. I know you picked the Raptors to win this series, But game 4, this team's down 2-1.
I didn't pick the Raptors to win this series. I got Golden State winning this series. Yeah, I bet on Golden State the entire time.
So then who you got here?
Game by game has been different. Tonight, I like Golden State. It's the desperation factor. That, for me, this is a team that if you believe the Golden State is going to lose tonight, then what you're really saying is they could lose a series of 5 games. I don't see that happening. I think Golden State tonight comes out much more focused at the start of the game defensively. They were soft and porous. They allowed Toronto to get into a great groove early in the game. You're going to see a manic effort out of Draymond Green. You're going to see Klay Thompson back on the floor to give them balance and spacing. So I think Golden State knows what's at stake tonight and the position they will put themselves in. All right. Very hard to come back for 3-1. You're going to see a different effort out of that team tonight on both ends.
I gave you an out. I was giving you the Raptors in the series, but you're sticking with the Warriors. We'll see how this plays out.
I think Golden State gets it done. You still got that 6'11 dude looming, too. We wonder if that guy's going to make an appearance at some point.
We'll see if KD is potentially ready for Game 5.
Arena, where Game 3, their 14-point miss for the Warriors, a rare home double-digit loss. We shall see what happens tonight in Game 4, but how about Kawhi Leonard putting up some big numbers this postseason, pouring in more than 27 points per game in every series. That is good for 4 of the top 5 single-series scoring averages in Raptors history. The lone player to join Leonard on that list, the one and only Air Canada Vince Carter. Coincidentally, Vinsanity has ties to both teams in this year's NBA Finals, because let's go back to 1998. Vince Carter drafted 5th overall by the Golden State Warriors, while his North Carolina teammate Antoine Jameson taken 4th by the Raptors. But then he gets on stage. Then Commissioner David Stern helps tell both players they're informed that they've been traded for each other. So Vince Carter and Antoine Jameson swapping hats while on stage 21 years ago, and we welcome Vinsanity.
21 long years ago.
Oh, very, very long years ago. We'll talk more about that in a second, but first, a veteran of 8 teams, but your first 6+ years were with the Raptors. Yes. What a change through the years that you have seen. And just a year ago, getting rid of the coach of the year, Dwayne Casey, bringing in a relative unknown Nick Nurse. Goodbye, DeMar DeRozan. Hello, Kawhi Leonard. What is the key to them finally getting here to the finals, Vince?
I think everybody, first and foremost, buying into what Nick Nurse was selling. It's always great when you bring in someone like Kawhi. Does a star player buy in? Does he believe in it? And he believed in it because he's easy to get along with.
Yeah.
And he wants to win. He comes from a winning pedigree and a winning organization in San Antonio. So Kyle Lowry, who wants to get to the finals and win a championship, was like, hey, we're going to all follow you. Let's do it.
Also, like you said with Kyle Lowry, that was tough for him to let go of DeMar DeRozan, his best friend, the faces of the franchise, but he put that aside with Masai Ujiri, and he bought in, and look, they're here for the first time in franchise history. The Warriors, that other team, that team that drafted you, uncharacteristically bad defense, especially in Game 3. When you look at Kawhi Leonard, his efficiency in Game 3 improved by 15%, Vince. You've tried to guard him, and that's not an easy task. What should the Warriors do against him?
Well, I'll tell you what, the one thing that helped Kawhi shoot and play so well is his other guys. Kyle Lowry, having a great start in the game, allowed Kawhi to ease into the game and get going. When he has other guys playing so well, you don't have to worry about a double team because you have to worry about other guys hitting shots. But when you're guarding Kawhi, he could get to the basket, he can shoot the ball. So sometimes you have to give up something. So you want to get into him. You want to show bodies. You want to show him multiple bodies and make him get off the ball as much as possible.
Easier said than done, of course. I got to tell you, it is an honor to be here again with you. 42 years young. And by the way, you announced that you're retiring after next season, right?
Yeah, one more year.
Really? Do we believe you this time?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, if you do continue through next season, which we believe that you will, you'll be the first player ever to play in 4 different decades in the NBA. Are you insane?
I've never realized that until I heard it for the first time. I was like,
4 decades.
How about that?
Listen, we all want to be you in our next life.
I'm playing against some of my old teammates' kids now.
Yeah, they could be your kids.
A lot of them.
That's insane.
Exactly.
Vince Carter, awesome perspective as always. Thank you for joining us here on Sports Center. And enjoy it. Keep going. Keep killing it for all of us in our 40s. By the way, the game, tip-off approaching right here on ESPN and ABC as you take a look at Draymond Green. A tough Game 3 for him. The triple-double streak that he'd been on didn't necessarily continue, but again, 17 points, 7 boards, 4 assists, the 4 turnovers he'd like to get back. They need Dre if they want to